we're finally going to see Retsudo do something, fighting for a change. And I'm excited. I'm excited because Kano thought Retsudo was supposed to be the fang of Mitsudo instead of Misasa. And when you put that into perspective, and the fact that Lo Long said Misasa wasn't going to be a person even he could take down easily, that hypes Retsudo up by a lot. I'm gonna be completely honest. But that's actually towards the end of the chapter. So let's start from the beginning, from when Setsuna entered the scene, because we carry on right after that with Setsuna sitting next to Oma. And it's kind of awkward, seeing them sit together, because it might just be the art style, but Setsuna and Oma look like siblings. Like, if I had to guess, I would probably think they actually are siblings. They just look alike, and their bickering here is also something that you would see from basically siblings. So it's kind of an interesting thing to note here, but we get to see Setsuna talk with Koga in regards to Ryuki, which Setsuna basically tells Ryuki that they were going around killing the worms, and Koga tries to blame Setsuna for the way Ryuki actually ended up acting. But Setsuna, look, we knew for a while now that Setsuna wasn't brainwashing Ryuki. He's changed from when he was, looking for Oma and thirsting after him in Kengan Ashura, when he was actually brainwashed. He has far more better intentions and is less forceful with what he's trying to do. So it's really no surprise that Setsuna wasn't actually brainwashing Ryuki. So we actually have a flashback of Ryuki talking to Setsuna, talking about that this was actually bound to happen, him actually having an emotional outburst and end up hurting someone that he loves, and that now he wants to see his grandfather and talk to him about what has actually happened. Again, in my previous reviews, I have talked about the fact that Ryuki, he is a very troubled individual. He's had a pretty rough childhood, and Mokaku is the sole reason why. Not only did he raise him in the inside for some reason, he trained him in a lifestyle meant for fighting, which, was probably meant to combat the worms. But once Ryuki actually started stepping outside and basically meeting people who weren't worms, there was a very big problem. And Ryuki had to struggle with how, his grandfather had trained him to basically how he is right now, where he's trying to be a nicer person. But those two things don't match. Then you have the worms that have all types of expectations for Ryuki, and you have a complete and utter disaster, which is basically what happened in the Berserker Bowl. And so this flashback is fairly interesting, and it goes to show that Ryuki is a lot more self-aware of what is actually happening to him, which is pretty good to see. Setsuna talks about the fact that, he had a GPS on Ryuki, and now that I think about it, it seems like everyone else had a GPS on Ryuki, and now Setsuna is actually not hunting the last Nico, but is looking for Ryuki as well, which to me was kind of surprising. I thought he was gonna go after the last Nico, that's why he was here. And I definitely do think the last Nico will pop up in this arc, but again, this goes to show just how much Setsuna has changed and how much he genuinely cares for Ryuki, basically. But he doesn't actually stay with them, he just dips, which to me is, kind of awkward. I thought he was gonna roll with them for a bit, but seems like he's going around solo. I wonder if he's gonna be the guide, although he's probably not, because he would have actually said something about that. It's more than likely that it's a character we don't know about, or I'm not sure if there's anyone who would qualify, at least that we know of, that would be the guy that they're looking for. Which, we finally meet the general. The general, he looks interesting, I guess. He's an interesting guy. He's an interesting fellow. To me, he looks like a throwaway character. We get a brief rundown of his history too. I doubt we'll be sticking long with the general, right? I don't think he's gonna be that important, or at least Zhang, bro. If Zhang is, I have heard like from I think was it Overlord Dio where he talked about the general might be a traitor. I'm 50-50 on it, to be completely honest. I don't think this guy is gonna be that important, but if he is, it'll be nice. But then he says, well, he's like, okay guys, I need to test your strength and that you could hold your own. And while I was reading, I was thinking, oh great, I guess he's gonna have one person fight each of them. No, just one of them is gonna have to beat one dude. And I thought they were gonna send Koga, because Koga's clearly the weakest out of all of them. Like, you know what, if Koga can clear the bar, then that's good. No, we get something better. We get Retsudo. Retsudo finally saying, great, I'm going to do something. My lord, thank God. Although, I'm gonna be honest, this should be rather quick. I do not think, like, if the hype behind Retsudo is real, then this guy is gonna get washed. He doesn't look like he's gonna be a character that's even slightly important. And like, yeah, sure, he's from the inside, so he should be stronger than most fighters, you would guess. But I don't think this is gonna last the entirety of next chapter, let alone like 2 chapters, right? This isn't gonna be a fight. Like, if Retsudo is meant to be as strong as a Fang of Metsudo, then to me it's a wrap. But the chapter was pretty short in terms of what was there. I guess the only interesting thing that we see here is what is this? Rei and Ryo sparring, which is fairly good to see, with the way they're just going back and forth at like close up range is even impressive to someone like Koga. He's like, god damn, these boys can go this hard. And I guess that's really about it. It was a pretty good chapter, to be completely honest. It was chill. It had some interesting bits. Building on Ryuki's character is definitely, I think, the best part of this little chapter. But the second best thing, in my opinion, is that we're finally going to see Retsudo do something. Some people you might have that as your number one, and I get it. But I think there's been a huge lack in Ryuki development, and I thought, like, when the first time this arc was coming around, I thought we were gonna focus on Ryuki completely. But it seems like we'll be getting a lot more flashbacks for Ryuki for now. So that's gonna be pretty nice. And yeah, that's about it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, sub, all that fun stuff. And for now, take it easy.